Citius Altius Fortius. This is the motto of the Olympic Games. This is the motto of the Olympic movement. Quicker, higher, stronger. The marathon at the 2012 London Olympic Games ended just after the 2-hour mark. 100 years prior to that, if we had the winner from that race racing in 2012, he would have crossed the finish line 30 minutes late. Athletes are becoming quicker. The sport is becoming quicker. My name is Mounir Zok. I work with the US Olympic Committee. I've given you some shortcuts up here for all of you who are active on your Twitter accounts. I will be spending the next minutes talking to you about our world. What does our world look like today from a technological perspective? And then I will shed some light on why technology and why innovation are core ingredients for any success that you want to obtain today, not only in sports, but in any kind of business. Did you know that there are 100 billion stars known in our Milky Way? 100 billion stars? Did you know that there are 100 billion times that number of information that we have captured up until 2015 in digital format? Did you know that there are 9 million devices that have gone on the internet in 2015? And the forecast that IDC puts out, which is one of the most reliable forecast companies for 2020, is triple this number. 27 billion devices will be online in 2020. Now, this is probably a conservative number as well, because Intel goes beyond that. Intel imagines and forecasts that in 2020, there are going to be 200 billion connected devices in the world. 200 billion. And this is where the devices are going to be allocated. Not only in our professional life, but also in our personal life. It will be all around us. Now, what happens in 1 minute over the internet? In 1 minute, there are more than 1 million YouTube videos that are played. There are more than 6 million Facebook posts that are viewed. And Amazon generates just over $80,000 every minute. Now, every minute in 2015, there were 4,800 new devices connected to the internet. I will repeat this. In 2015, there were 4,800 new devices every minute connected to the internet. In 2025, the forecast is to have more than 150,000 devices connected every minute to the internet. That's a growth of about 3,000%. It's a huge, huge, huge number. In 2020, we will have captured 44 zettabytes of data. We will not be talking about gigabytes and terabytes anymore in 4 years from today. And if we stretch that to 2025, it becomes even bigger and bigger and bigger. This is our world today. This is what our world looks like from a digital and technological perspective. Now, the wearable electronics market on its own, which is one of the most powerful markets right now in sports, is estimated to be $50 billion only in the US. Only in the US, $50 billion. Now, there are new business ventures that we see taking place on the market that we had never imagined before. An insurance company making a pact with a component company so that everyone in the US will be awarded cash if they achieve certain health milestones. So just an example, if, let's say, someone is walking more than 100,000 steps a month, then they will get a check of $100, for example. Companies that have been known to be in the consumer electronics market are overtaking companies that specialize in wearable technology. It's something unseen before. And believe it or not, sweat seems to be the gold mine of the future. Sweat will be the element that will make companies grow. So this is what our world looks like. Now let's look at our sports a little bit. Sports are becoming faster, right? Athletes are stronger. Athletes are running much faster. And athletes are becoming quite a challenging beast to work with, because athletes require and pretend to have real-time information regarding how they're performing so that they can make better decisions. So it's quite challenging for all stakeholders who are working with athletes today to give them all of those data points that they require. Now, it's equally challenging to get these three guys off of the couch. How do you convince three fans to abandon the beer, to abandon the popcorn, to abandon their chips, and go into the stadium? Now, of course, if they have to head into a stadium like this, no problem, right? No one needs an excuse to go to the Camp Nou. But sports organizations are asking themselves this question: how can we get fans out of the comfort of their home into the stadiums? What will the stadiums of the future look like? And we will hear lots about that over the next 2 days. Just to give you a glimpse, the stadiums of the future are not thought about only as stadiums. They're thought about as areas that go beyond the stadium area, beyond what we conceive today as a stadium, to encompass a larger area in the city with limits that go way, way beyond the walls of the stadium, which is where you'll get your ticket. And then you'll enjoy the event for the whole day. It will not be only limited to the 90 minutes, let's say, of a football game. Technology and innovation play a huge role here. Stadiums are envisioned to have at one point drones that will be capturing footage from all different viewpoints that you can imagine. And there's no limit to how many drones you can have. You can have almost one drone per player. Almost. The vision is also to have you having your own barbecue at the stadium. And your car that will drive itself, because it will drive itself 2-3 years from now, will park itself wherever you need it to park, and you'll be able to enjoy this event. Not only the game, but the whole event. Innovation, technology play a huge role in this. And I believe that there can be no success in any market unless innovation and technology become core ingredients of your business. So let's take a closer look at these two. Let's take a closer look at what innovation means. Now, I believe that companies who will be succeeding in the future need to embrace 3 elements. Arnaud highlighted earlier on about the first element, and that is the element of taking risks. Companies need to become familiar with embracing risks. Companies must seek the risk, and they must be very, very comfortable in failing. And as a matter of fact, the quicker you fail, the quicker you learn, the quicker you grow, the quicker you get closer to your client. So embracing failure is one of the innovation elements that will make or break companies moving forward. The second element is learning. Embrace learning. Embrace the fact that you will never know how to develop the product that will work if you do it internally. You can't be sitting in the comfort of your office anymore. You have to be spending your time outside with your clients, talking to the clients, trying to understand what they want and build what they want. So being curious is a huge, huge element that will make part of all businesses over the coming years. The third one is to embrace the gap. Now, companies traditionally have been built to produce incremental changes over the years. You know, this is human nature. We think in a linear fashion, right? We go from here to here, and then from here to here. However, the technology market grows exponentially. And there's a huge gap that forms between an incremental growth and an exponential growth. So you need to be comfortable embracing that gap. And as a matter of fact, the companies who have not been able to embrace the gap have disappeared. Blockbuster, Kodak, they're not here anymore. And then you have new companies who have learned how to embrace the gap, who have created the killer apps, and who are disrupting our world in ways that we had never imagined before. Uber is the biggest unicorn today. A unicorn is a company that is valued at $1 billion. It's the biggest unicorn today. In the last 3 years, there have been more unicorns than ever before in history. And this is the opportunity that all of you have in front of you. And that opportunity is not limited only to the US, and it's not limited only to sports. It's spanning all of the market segments worldwide. It is the opportunity that you guys need to take advantage of. So embrace failure, embrace learning, and embrace the gap. Now, if we look at technology, there are 5 megatrends that I believe will make or break any business. Smart devices, smart sensors, wearable sensors, sensors that you have in your venues, call it whatever you want. Cloud computing, so the capability of analyzing data in real time in a cloud, and artificial intelligence, building mathematical algorithms to extract information from all of the ocean of data that you can accumulate, powered by an Internet of Things concept, by a concept that brings all of this together and accelerated by social media. These are the 5 technology megatrends that will make or break any business. And if you look at all of the unicorns, you will see that they have all figured out how to use the combination of those 5 megatrends. Now in sports, I believe that we will have 3 categories that will really define our sports over the next 5 years. The first one we can classify today as wearable technology. Even though that technology is changing shape, it's changing flavor, and it's going beyond the wearable part. It's going beyond the human part, because it's becoming a technology that you can embed in the instruments that our athletes use and in the areas that they live in. Now, imagine we are able to capture all of that information and put it into one place. And this is where the Internet of Things comes in very handy. How are we going to aggregate all of these data points? How are we going to synchronize all of these data points? And how are we going to put all of these data points into one area that then we can build upon the 3rd megatrend, which is artificial intelligence, or machine learning, or cognitive learning, or cognitive computing, whatever you want to call it. Mathematical algorithms that are able to learn on their own, that are able to learn from the users, to adapt to the users and to give the user the answers to the questions that the user is coming up with, but even more importantly, to find surprises that no one has been asking before. So wearable technology, IoT, and real-time analytics is going to change sports really in radical ways. We cannot even imagine how that will be. Now, with only 156 days left until Rio 2016, until the Olympic Games are celebrated down in Brazil, let me show you how one of our teams, how one of Team USA Sports is preparing for that. Can we have audio, please? Let's take a closer look at Team Pursuit. How many people in the room know what Team Pursuit is? Could you please raise your hands? So 0.082 seconds was the difference between medal and no medal. That represents 0.04% of a gap. So the question that we ask ourselves always within our team is, how do we get a 0.04% gap? For many of you who were here last year, I was talking about the 1% gap. Well, it got worse this year. It's shrunk. It's 0.04%. How do you get that? So let me show you with a glimpse. I can't reveal much. You will appreciate this about what is being done with our track cycling program. We are using those 3 megatrends that I talked to you about. We have technologies that our athletes wear on their bodies. For example, heart rate, very, very simple. We have technologies that are embedded inside the bicycles. Think about a power meter. We have technologies that are embedded in weather stations all around the world where they travel to. We bring all of that information together and we put it in an Internet of Things platform, an IoT platform that we can build upon real-time analytics to transfer then to the stakeholders, who are the athletes and the coach, the very simple information that they need so that they understand whether they need to push more, whether they're good, or whether they need to back up. So today our coach, as he's working with our women pursuit team, he's using a dashboard like this that is updating information in real time. So whenever they're done with one training round and they all come down to the center of the velodrome, he's able to share with them what happened for each and every rider. Now the riders can benefit also from very simple information that they have within, let's say, smart glasses. And you will hear more about this tomorrow, that they wear directly on the sunglasses. Now this is crucial in team pursuit, because as you're ducked in this position and you're cycling and you're looking upwards because you have to see the road, there's no way you would want to look down, deviate your sight from where you need to be focusing on to look at what the monitor on your bicycle is telling you. You need to have that information directly in your line of sight. And this is just a snapshot of an example of the feedback that our cyclists get today. It's marvelous. It's amazing. And you'll hear more about this tomorrow. Now, you remember when Mission Impossible some years back, we used to watch this movie to look at, to gain a feel of what are some of the technologies that will come 10 years from now, right? Like they were using all crazy stuff, right? I was watching Spectre on the plane to Mexico City, and they bring 007 in, and Q injects some technologies into his bloodstream and informing 007 that this was part of a smart blood project to track the vitals, to locate where 007 was each and every second onwards. Now those technologies, probably if we were watching this movie 10 years ago, would not have seemed real, would not have seemed touchable. But today, the margin that's taking place between groundbreaking movies like 007s and Mission Impossibles and what we have really available on the market is shrinking, and it's beautiful. Today, we have stickers that you can place anywhere you want on your body and then can pick up all different kinds of informations. This is the new wearable technology phase. It's not the hardware rigid element that we have to wear on our body anymore. Companies are working on printable Band-Aids that we can put over our wounds and that will give us an automatic update regarding the state of the wound, how healthy it is now. Does it need more attention or is it good? Companies are working on conductive ink that takes us even beyond the sticker, that takes us beyond the tattoo, more towards drawing on any part of the body in any form that you want and being able to pick up data points from that body part. It's amazing. Time in 2014 published this magazine. If you didn't read this article, you should. It's wonderful. They talk about the never offline world and how we are heading towards a never offline world. Our athletes are becoming superheroes. They're becoming super athletes. They are able finally to make that very, very informed decision that helps them gain that 0.04% edge. American football is envisioned to have athletes benefit from heads-up displays directly in the helmet so that they know what kind of gameplay they need to execute upon. Tomorrow, you will hear about nanotextiles, and you will hear about the evolutions in the textile industry and how the textiles that athletes will wear one day will transform into that technological textile that will give them all of the information that they need, that will put them in a position that they can understand what's happening to their body, and they don't have to guess anymore. And soon, we will be seeing what we can call enchanted products. I use that term from David Rose. He works at MIT. He talks about the enchanted objects of the world. How can you take normal objects and transform them into exceptional objects? So soon, we will see all of the data points flowing from our athletes directly into the various streams. Those streams can be towards high-performance perspectives, or why not, they can end up on TV real time so that we can enjoy more the sport and we can know better what's happening. Now, I do believe also that there's one element that is crucial to all of the development in sport. And that element is a cross-pollination that can happen only at conferences like this one here. And I really have to thank the Moveo Lab team for having organized this third year, bringing in professionals not only from different parts of the world, but with such heterogeneous expertise into one room. You don't find this. You don't find this anywhere else. And I strongly believe that unless we are able to have conversations among people with different skill sets, we will never be able to make a significant disruptive move forward. Thank you.